Hi everybody, and welcome to episode 3 of the Healthy Eating video series. Today's video is called The Healthy Eating Plate. In our last episode, we talked about the food groups and their serve sizes to help us understand which foods and how much food we should eat on a daily basis. And I know that for a lot of people, looking at all of these serve numbers and amounts can be really confusing and stressful, especially if we try to follow it all exactly. It sounds like we'd have to do a lot of weighing and counting to eat the right amount of food, no? Well, what I would say is, I think it's a good idea to try and look at the Guide to Healthy Eating as just that, a guide. Something to help you have a rough idea about how we should try and eat. And like we keep mentioning, by eating a variety of food groups and making sure we're including a bit more of the larger ones like veggies, this basically guarantees we'll get enough nutrients for good health. The goal should be balance and not perfection. But what does this actually look like when we sit down for a meal? What should our plates look like? Here is where the healthy eating plate comes in really handy. Basically, the plate transforms the Guide to Healthy Eating with all of its food groups and amounts and turns it into something that is much easier to follow in our day-to-day lives. The plate is made up of 3 main parts. First, we have vegetables, which fill up half the plate, then grains, which fill 1/4, and finally protein foods, which fill the final quarter. If we look to the left side, we can see the same hand measurements we used before. 2 cupped hands means 2 serves of veggies, 1 fist equals 1 serve of grains, and a palm is the size of 1 serve of protein. This also means that 1/4 of a plate is going to be equal to around 1 serve, maybe 2 if we stack a little extra food on top. However, this is only 3 of the 5 food groups. Underneath, we can see that it is recommended to have fruits and dairy foods as snacks, ensuring that we eat all 5 groups throughout the day. Now, even though this looks a lot simpler than the Guide to Healthy Eating, it can still be really intimidating to a lot of people. For many of us, having half a plate of veggies, for example, can be a lot more than we might be used to. What I would say is that I think we should think of this plate as more of a long-term goal, something that we move towards slowly, depending on where each of us is at with our personal eating habits. We can't do it in just a day. Right now, some of us might have half a plate of veggies with every meal, and some of us might just have a little bit of lettuce on the side occasionally. What I think is most important is making changes that we can stick to, creating healthy and sustainable habits. So if you usually have something like a big steak for dinner with some pasta, that's already 2 food groups on the plate, protein and grains. Try and see if you could have a bit of mashed potato on the side, a small salad, or even some cauliflower with cheese. Start small, see how you feel, and then after a few days or weeks, maybe try adding a little bit more, or try another veggie you might not be familiar with, and see if you like it. The same goes for any of the other food groups. This, I believe, is how we create healthy habits. If we've never really eaten vegetables before and jumped from one extreme to the next, stuffing our face full of them, we're probably just going to completely give up after the first day. But by making small changes and thinking of this as a long hike up a mountain instead of a racing sprint, it can make things a lot easier. I'm reminded of the story of the tortoise and the hare. When we go slow and steady, we win the race. Now let's go through a few examples of what some lunches and dinners might look like when following this healthy eating plate model. One example could be having some chicken schnitzel for protein, wholemeal pasta for grains, and some mashed potato, steamed broccoli, and carrots for veggies. And the foods don't have to be separated like this to have a balanced plate. Another example could be a stir fry with noodles for grains, some veggies, and sliced beef for protein, all mixed together. Sandwiches and wraps are another great way to pack in plenty of food groups in a single meal. 2 slices of bread is already 2 serves of grains. We could fill it with some chicken breast, which is going to be our protein food, some salad veggies like lettuce, cucumber, and tomato, and a slice of cheese for dairy. And just like that, we've included 4 of the 5 food groups in a single meal. Follow it up with an apple or banana, and you're set with all 5. Now, some of you might be thinking, all right, fair enough. Following this plate sounds easy for lunch or dinner, but what about breakfast? What if I don't want to have half a plate of broccoli at 7 in the morning? Well, I think that the healthy eating plate is something we can focus more on for lunches and dinners to make sure we're getting enough veggies and protein foods. But we don't have to make every single plate look like this to be healthy. For breakfasts, I usually focus more on grains, dairy foods, and fruits. An easy example could be cereal, with a cup of milk for dairy, some cornflakes for grains, and some sliced fruit on top like a banana. A personal rule I like to follow is to aim to include at least 3 of the 5 food groups for every main meal, and 1 to 2 for snacks. So what might this look like if we imagine a whole day of eating healthfully? Maybe for breakfast we could have some Weet-Bix, milk, a sliced banana, and a bit of honey. For a snack, let's have some wholemeal crackers with cheese. For lunch, a wholemeal sandwich with chicken, salad, and another slice of cheese. A second snack could be some vanilla yogurt with a tub of fruit and juice. And dinner could be some spaghetti bolognese with wholemeal pasta, lean beef mince or other mince, and a tomato sauce loaded with veggies like onion, carrots, and celery. And finally, for dessert, a small tub of chocolate mousse. Now, remember that we are aiming for 2 serves of fruit, 5 serves of veg, 5 serves of grain, 2.5 serves of protein, 3.5 serves of dairy, and 2 serves or less of sometimes foods. It sounds like a lot, but let's see how we did. So let's start with fruits. For breakfast, we had 1 sliced banana, that's 1 serve. And for our second snack, we had a tub of fruit, so that's 2 in total. For veggies, we had some salad in our sandwich, so that might be 1.5 serves. And then for dinner, we had our bolognese, which is rich in veggies. So that might be around 3 serves. So in total, maybe 4.5 to 5 serves, which is pretty good. For grains, we had 2 Weet-Bix in the morning, that's 1 serve. 4 crackers for our snack is another. We had 2 slices of bread in our sandwich, so that's 4 in total. And then we also had some pasta with our bolognese, so that would be around 5.5 serves. For protein, we had some chicken in our sandwich, that's 1 serve, and we had some lean mince with our bolognese, that's probably 1.5, so 2.5 altogether. For dairy, we had a cup of milk for breakfast, that's 1 serve, 40 grams of cheese, that's another, 1 slice of cheese is half a serve, and a small tub of yogurt is the final serve, so that's 3.5 serves. And finally, we had 1 tablespoon of honey, that's 1 serve of sometimes food. And we also had a small tub of chocolate mousse, so that's another serve, 2 in total. So we're under the limit, I guess. Now, as we said, we don't need sometimes foods to be healthy, but they can make healthy foods a lot more enjoyable, and we don't need to completely remove them from our diet. I would probably struggle to eat Weet-Bix if it didn't have a little bit of honey on it, and some mousse for dessert can be a great way to satisfy a sweet tooth and give ourselves a small treat at the end of the day. So just by focusing on variety and eating around 3 of the food groups per main meal and 2 for snacks, we've pretty much met all of the serve recommendations without even really thinking about it. And like we said last time, because different people have different energy needs, some of us are going to need more food and some will need less. This is just meant to be an example that I hope most people can benefit from by becoming more familiar with general healthy eating. And if we find that we've had 2 serves of dairy one day instead of 3.5, that's no reason to panic. Like we said, focus on variety in the days and over the weeks as well, with different meals and different snacks. Focus on getting a variety of food groups and foods within those food groups, and we should be completely fine and meet all of our nutritional needs. And that's really the main message of this video. In our next episode, we're going to talk a little bit more about sometimes foods, as well as some of the easy swaps we can make to improve our diets. Hopefully, I'll see you there. Thanks again so much for watching. Bye.